I'll bet that you've never put in the same sentence these two words, poetry and prisoners. The fact is that there are a lot of prisoners who are writing some very good poetry. We want to share that with you today. Welcome to Crossroad Connection. We're speaking out for those left unheard. My name is David Scheringa. I'm the president of Crossroad Bible Institute and the host of your program. I have in the studio with me today Erin Zoudendam,
That's right.
and she is associate editor at Crossroad Bible Institute.
Yep,
So
that's
if
right.
the viewers are on our mailing list, they see lots of things written by you.
That's right.
And how long have you been with us now?
A little over a year.
And you've been learning a lot about people in prison.
Right, a lot, a lot. Whether from testimonies or often, as we're going to find out today, through the poetry.
We have had a couple programs in the past where we've talked about our inmate art gallery,
That's right.
which is an amazing thing. In fact, people can come to Crossroad Bible Institute and actually view the gallery
Right.
and see it firsthand. They can come and even listen to a lecture from you
That's right.
on
That's
how
right.
how to view inmate art, right? So you're becoming a bit of an expert in this area.
I really enjoy it. Yep.
Yeah. And also, if people are on our mailing list, they get a booklet, quarterly magazine called Crossroad Journal of the Arts. And we have in that journal that comes out 4 times a year paintings, artwork, drawings of the prisoners. But in addition to that, in that in that in that journal, we have the poetry of prisoners.
Right.
And so, people in prison, many of them are poets.
Yeah, that's true. They find it's a very personal art form, I think. And they have a lot to say.
What kind of things do people in prison write poems about?
Probably the largest category are religious, which there's a really long tradition in Western civilization, obviously, of religious poetry and sacred poetry. And then probably the next largest category are very personal, almost autobiographical poems.
Okay, so religious poems and then autobiographical poems, talking about what they've gone through and so forth.
Right.
Um, and some of do some of those poems talk about what life is like inside prison?
Absolutely.
And that's the
Yeah.
that's the ones you've brought along.
Right. I've chosen some of those. Yep.
So you're going to read some poems for us.
Right.
What's the first one that you have here? Now these are poems from people who are in prison. The first one, what's the name of the student?
This is Roxanne, and she is imprisoned in California right now.
She's incarcerated in California. What's the name
Yep.
of the poem?
It's called Waiting.
Waiting.
Yeah, which says
Okay.
a lot, even right there in the title.
Okay, so we're going to concentrate today on poems about being in prison.
Right.
Let's hear it.
Okay. It starts showered, brushed, dressed in states, restlessly hoping, anxiously I wait, longing to hear my name on the speaker, each hour that passes feeling weaker. Inmates sadly stealing glances at me, aware of the loneliness so clear to see. Another visiting day spent eagerly waiting, feeling so abandoned while silently debating, how will I endure 3 more years? Striving to smile through my tears, resolved to make a determined choice, listening to my Lord's calming voice, guiding me to wait and just be still, humbly submitting to his divine will. My eyes are on him, my Father above, gratefully focusing on his supreme love, knowing that his grace is sufficient for me, helping me accept my busy family.
Wow, that kind of gives me goosebumps.
Right. And
Now you're an English major, so
That's
you
right.
know more about poetry than I do. I'm poetically illiterate. What's that poem telling you?
I really appreciate that it's not, that it's very honest. So, and we make a point of that when we choose the poetry for the journal. It's not all happy. It's not all, everything is
Cliches
going
and-
right. It's not just kind of a set of patent cliches or anything like that. So I really appreciate that. She's very vulnerable in that poem, and she says, I was waiting for my family to come see me, and they did not come.
Hmm.
So,
And then wondering about the next 3 years, how she's ever
Yeah.
going to get through it.
right.
So this is okay. So you're do you choose the poetry that
I
gets
do.
hit? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And so you know what you're looking for, and you're looking for the real thing, huh?
Right. Yes. So we receive hundreds of poems a year, and the ones that stand out tend to be more personal.
Ah.
Yep.
Do you have another one for us?
I do. This one is also a little bit sadder. They're not all sad, but some of them are. And it's called Forgotten and Alone by Cody in Texas.
Cody in Texas,
Yeah.
Forgotten and Alone.
Mm-hmm. So he says, "Here I am, locked up again, with no family or loved ones near. All that's left inside of me is the sadness and the fear. I pray to God for salvation and to lead me in his grace. I beg him to show mercy as tears roll down my face. As I lay here in my bed, I shed another tear because I feel I've been forgotten by those I love so dear. As I think of Shauna and the kids, my chest fills up with pain. I cannot overcome this sorrow. It's driving me insane. I called to say I miss them and I love them with all my heart. But when they did not answer, I started to fall apart. My eyes filled up with tears as I hung up the telephone. So this is what it feels like to be forgotten and alone."
Talk to me.
Well, I think this is a good reminder of why CBI is so important. We do know a lot of cases where the family, for a variety of reasons, is not very present in the life of our students.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice he did mention God in the middle, and so I think he is struggling to recognize that God is by his side, but like all humans, he wants to live in community with some real humans near him, and that's not his family. So I think that just shows how important it is that our instructors are writing really heartfelt, really personal letters.
It's kind of interesting that are the same prisoners who write poems also the ones who are doing the artwork, or is also a whole different class?
That's a good question. It completely depends. Some of them specialize and do one or the other, but some of them do both. And the nice thing about poetry, I think, is that a lot of people don't have any artistic skill, and I would put myself in that category. I can't paint or draw very well, but everyone uses words every day, so everyone can write some form of poetry if they want to. So we have a lot of people who find they can do that and express themselves that way.
We find that the people in prison have various levels of education and literacy
Sure.
and all that kind of stuff. Does that make a difference writing a poem?
Well, I see a lot that, to me, remind me of like rap music. So I think there's a tradition there that maybe is not as traditional as what some people are used to. And the rules are slightly different than a really traditional kind of poetry, but there's, it's
The
there.
poetry is like rap.
Yeah, yep.
And what's the difference in the rules?
It's less structured. It tends to be
More flexible grammatically.
very
probably.
flexible. Yep. Sometimes the syllables have to be accented different ways to make it quite work out and sound right, which you see in rap as well. And it tends to be those tend to be my favorite. Yeah, they're drawing from a strong tradition.
Does a tune come to your head as you're doing? Here's a
I don't know. I'm not overly familiar with rap music, but yeah, it's you can tell it's coming from the heart. So
yeah, it's more of a grassroots kind of
Yep.
kind of poetry.
yeah, exactly.
Well, that's very fascinating. Let's have another one.
Okay, we'll find one that's a little bit more not
Upbeat.
cheerful, but yeah, more redemptive. This is another from a woman, and we try to recognize the poems that come from women because we have fewer female students than males. And it's
Say
called,
that again.
we have fewer female students than we have
Right.
male students.
Right.
So we are always excited to get poems from women.
Got it.
This one's called The Prayers of Others, and it's from Tanya, and she's in Florida. And she says, "Consider the prayers of others. I look around this dorm, this prison, 1,500 women, 1,500 moms, daughters, sisters, aunts, best friends, grandmothers. I imagine the love it must take to keep going each day, knowing that they are sober and causing those they love pain. I imagine the tears of their children as they sleep at night, wondering why God won't answer their prayers to bring mommy home just this once. Imagine the prayers of others when they pray for you."
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a female perspective
Mm-hmm.
on incarceration.
Yeah. So even though she says things are kind of bleak around here, there's so much empathy in there. Yeah, love that.
So 1,500. What did you say? 1,500 moms. There's
Right.
1,500 daughters. 1,500.
Incredible. Yeah.
Boy, so she's
Mm-hmm.
she's putting the face on people that are incarcerated when
Yeah.
they're usually numbers
Right.
in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I know about 5% of people incarcerated are women.
Okay.
Um, but the last time we did a little check, about 10% of our students are,
Oh, that's
which
great.
is kind of interesting.
Yes.
Um, and I'm not sure what to attribute that to, except is that, because usually all the other statistics in terms of demographics are the same for our student body as for what's in prison, because we have 45,000 students. But we do have this large number of females compared to the population. So
Sure.
it is also possible that women, maybe incarcerated women, maybe really do want that program and want to get out and
Sure.
and so forth. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you were aware of that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's have another one.
Okay.
I love these poems.
Yeah, this is the last one that I brought. I really like this.
And also, people should see. They can show a close up on these, but these are wonderful little booklets, and they can get on our mailing list and have these delivered right to their home. But
Right.
they have just wonderful pictures on the front. The poems are all throughout, and also there's always I have an article that I write to the people in prison
Right.
every time. And right now we're doing a series on flourishing in your community.
Yeah.
But in the past we've done other areas: substance abuse,
Yeah.
work ethic, family. So it's kind of like a little pulpit for me to speak directly to those who are incarcerated.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Okay.
and they can, if our viewers would email us, mail at crossroadbible.org, or email me personally, David at cbi.fm, or write us, P.O. Box 900, Grand Rapids, Michigan, or go to the website, cbi.fm, and they can get on the mailing list and get this thing for free.
Oh, yeah.
Crossroad Journal of the Arts. It is by far our most popular publication. Huh?
Yes.
People love this. The students love this. The response is always just fantastic. Let's hear this last one.
All right. And this artist, poet, his name is Jeffrey, and he's in New York. He sent a statement along with it. So he wrote, "Not everyone sees inmates as good people, and not all of them are. But I am a firm believer that prison has changed many for the better, and they deserve another chance. I've met in prison some of the smartest, most talented people that I've ever come across. This poem is for them." So that's his introduction.
Wow.
And it's called Prison Flowers. And he writes, "If only you could see prison through my eyes, you would realize what I see. I see beautiful flowers running free in captivity. They're growing day by day in what they think and say, sinking their roots deep into this earth of soil and clay. I see them shedding old behaviors like leaves in a storm, creating a new beauty to send out to society to perform. If only you could see prison through my eyes, you would realize the flowers are alive and in full bloom. They are the same flowers that will soon be in your living room."
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff. And haven't we found that with our inmate art gallery, with the publication of their artwork and their poems, doesn't this help to see inmates through different eyes?
Absolutely.
How would you describe that transformation that people can experience?
Well, it's pretty easy. I think Hollywood really helps us out with this, unfortunately, to see prisoners as one kind of walking in stereotype. Just kind of dangerous thugs or something like that. But when you either read a poem or if you see some of the really beautiful works in our gallery, you just kind of automatically think, oh, this is a human being. This person has the image of God in them, or they wouldn't be able to respond this way.
You put that very, very well, I think. They're not just objects of derision,
Right.
But they're people who made some serious mistakes,
Sure.
serious enough to be incarcerated, but they are still God's image bearers, and they're much more than their crime, and they have these wonderful talents, and they can express their hearts. And as our instructors tell me all the time as I travel across the country, they say that they are a blessing to them.
Sure.
The people incarcerated are a blessing to them and help their faith grow, and God is speaking through them to them. So that's a marvelous, marvelous testimony.
Yeah.
To the fact that they are more than the sum total of their crime.
Sure.
But
Absolutely.
they're made in God's image.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We got to have another program like this about poets in prison or something like that. Or,
Yeah.
you know, as I mentioned, I think a lot of people don't put those two words together, prisoners and poems.
Right, right.
But I hope that they do now, and I hope that you have enjoyed this program. Thanks for being with us. And if you'd like to get these poems delivered right to your home, then go to cbi.fm under resources and sign up, or write us at P.O. Box 900, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we'll get you on the mailing list, and you can have your very own copy of Crossroad Journal of the Arts and learn all about the poets who are incarcerated. Thanks for being with us, and I hope to see you again right here next week.